At 14,000 feet above sea level, the air is so thin it steals your breath before you even realize it. Prayer flags flap wildly in the wind, their faded colors dance against a sky that looks close enough to touch. Clouds hang just below the rooftops. The mountains rise up like stone guardians, cold, silent, eternal. This isn't a dream, it's the heartbeat of Tibetan villages, a place where people have... A miracle was forged in one of the most relentless and beautiful places on earth, hanging off the Himalayas, way beyond the reach of modern roads. These villages stand as timeless monuments of resilience and spiritual devotion. They're not just simple settlements, they're living museums where a 1,000-year-old tradition flows through every breath. Here, Buddhism isn't just a weekend religion, it's the red thread guiding every choice, every step in the thin mountain air. The new day doesn't start with the sharp beep of an alarm, but the deep booming echo of the monastery's bronze trumpets waking the sleeping valley. When the first ray of sun hits the snowy peaks, the towering guardians watching over the village, the people step out of their white stone homes. Those walls are thick enough to stand up to the winds that have howled through the canyons for thousands of years. The faces of the people show the marks left by sun and wind. High up, telling the story of generations who chose the clouds over the easy life down in the lowlands. Life moves to a rhythm the modern world has forgotten. No rush, no deadlines. Time is marked by the seasons. Spring, when the frozen earth starts to wake up. Summer, when the barley changes under the blazing sun. Autumn, when the fields turn golden and the villagers hurry to harvest and stock up on fuel. Then winter, when the community gathers around the fire to share old epic tales and keep the flame alive from a culture that's been around for 1,000 years. Every house is a masterpiece of adaptation, with flat roofs to store fuel and dry crops, small windows to keep in the heat, but always open to breathtaking natural views where the soul easily finds peace. You'll see prayer wheels everywhere, spinning blessings into the air. The prayer flags flutter in 5 colors. Colors that represent the perfect balance of the universe. Blue for the vast sky, white for the pure clouds, red for the sacred warm fire, green for the source of life-giving water, yellow for the generous Mother Earth. But the greatest miracle isn't in the landscape, it's in the people. Through all the ups and downs of history, the Tibetans have kept their identity intact. They treat strangers with a genuine warmth, a kindness that seems almost impossible given the circumstances. Surviving in such extreme conditions, kids laugh innocently as they herd yaks on steep slopes that seem to defy gravity, while travelers struggle to catch their breath. The elders carry wisdom gained from many lifetimes, understanding nature's laws in their rawest, most powerful form. Spanning 965,000 square miles, the Tibetan Plateau sits between 12,000 and 16,000 feet high, caught between the Himalayas and the majestic Kunlun mountain range. With 40% less oxygen than at sea level, this place is literally the roof of the world. The villages are strategically tucked into river valleys to find water, living in proud isolation to protect a culture that's thrived for over 2,000 years. The story of Tibetan villages isn't just written in stone and brick, but in faith. Before the 7th century, this land belonged to Bon, an ancient shamanic religion. Full of mystery. The turning point came when King Songtsen Gampo married the princesses of China and Nepal, bringing with them the first Buddhist teachings that completely changed the fate of this people. Monasteries sprang up, becoming the heart of the villages, not just places for prayer, but also centers for medicine and knowledge, especially with the arrival of the great master Padmasambhava. He sparked the flame of Tantric Buddhism, transforming the barren lands into sacred sanctuaries have stood through the ups and downs of dynasties and shifts in power. The rugged land became nature's protective hug, helping Tibetan culture thrive in pure isolation, cut off from the noise of the modern world. Winter in Tibet isn't just a season, it's a 6-month survival test. When the temperature hits 30 degrees below zero, everything falls into the absolute silence of frost. At the moment, ancient wisdom starts to show. The armor that protects them is the chuba, a long robe made of sheepskin or thick yak wool. The fur layer is always turned inward to keep in as much heat as possible. It's not just a piece of clothing, but a mobile home. Its roomy design lets the wearer wrap themselves in several layers of wool and cotton, creating a perfect insulation system. The tall reed boots, lined with fur, are sometimes stuffed with dry straw to keep the cold out. The rocks penetrate right down to the bone marrow. At an altitude where no tree can grow to form a forest, the Tibetan people make their living from their own livestock. The staple of every meal is tsampa, roasted barley flour. Just mixing it with butter tea or shaping it into small balls, tsampa gives a huge energy boost without needing any fancy cooking. Every early morning, Tibetan women milk the female yaks called dri. Their hands move quickly and skillfully between. The frost is used to collect the thick milk that later turns into butter and cheese stored for the long winter. The main fuel isn't wood or coal, but jack dung, dry jack dung. During the summer, families carefully gather it and dry it under the blazing sun. When burned in the clay stove in the middle of the house, these fuel pieces give off a deep warmth where the whole family gathers to share the heat and old stories by the light of the blinking llamas. In stone houses, windows are kept tiny and covered with thick cloth or oil-soaked paper. People are okay with giving up light to keep warm. Jack's heavy wool rugs and hot stones wrapped in cloth placed at the foot of the bed are the secret to helping them sleep soundly when the outside world is completely frozen. That's how Tibetans survive, not by fighting nature, but by understanding it, blending with it, a perfect adaptation honed over thousands of years. In Tibetan villages, Buddhism isn't just words written on paper, it's become a living art passed down through countless generations. Here, people don't just practice Buddhism, they live it. Every action, from the morning stretch at dawn to the gentle sigh before sleep, carries deep spiritual meaning. The monastery always stands at the center, like the beating heart of the community. Their golden roofs catch the sunlight, shining bright from every corner, like a quiet reminder of the divine presence. The sound of horns echoes off the cliffs, setting the calm pace of daily life. In this culture, monks are the sole guardians of the community. Families see it as the highest honor to send their kids to the monastery. From as young as 6, children start learning about the philosophy, rituals, and meditation. These young monks are the bridge between the earthly world and the sacred, present at every major milestone in life, from the first cry at birth to the moment the last breath leaves the body. Every new day starts with pure offerings, clear water, butter lamps, and incense filling the family altar with fragrance. You can picture people circling the stupa clockwise, their hands spinning prayer wheels, and their steps performing the full prostration ritual on the cold ground. It's the greatest expression of devotion. Tibetan culture is deeply rooted in compassion. Universal compassion isn't some distant idea. It shows up in things like buying fish from fishermen just to set them free back into the cold streams. Here, the sacred and the everyday blend together, like the mountain air mixing with the clouds. But the plateau isn't just full of memories, it's changing too. The ice on the far-off peaks melts a bit slower each year, but it's melting for real. The streams that flowed steadily for generations, but now they're drying up earlier than usual. The village elders don't need weather reports. They watch the color of the snow, listen to the wind, and feel the change in the rhythm between the sky and the earth, and they know something's shifting. The new roads bring light, goods, and opportunities, but they also bring a fast-paced life this place has never known before. The plateau stands strong like it did 1,000 years ago, but deep down, the layers of time are quietly cracking. These villages are living proof that people can thrive without having to dominate nature. They've built a civilization at an altitude where even breathing is tough. Yet, behind that timeless beauty lies a harsh truth. This way of life is seriously under threat. Climate change is messing with the 1,000-year-old rhythms of this place.
The younger generations are leaving the hills behind to chase opportunities in the modern cities. When the elders have gone, the treasure of ancient knowledge risks fading away like the mountain mist. That's why sharing these stories is so important. Every time you watch or share, it's not just a social media interaction, it's helping to preserve a part of humanity's heritage. Don't let these beauties get lost in the fog of time. If you feel like your soul has been cleansed by these images and stories, join us to explore more magical places around the world. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming cultural journeys. Drop a comment sharing how the spirit of the Tibetan people moves you. Share this video as a way to help us preserve humanity's precious heritage together. Thanks for listening and for being with us. See you on new adventures where the untold stories are waiting for you.